Oh, Gibraltar.
Ready for battle.
Wait, which one's you?
Attackers incoming in
Spec broken. Okay.
Barriers on you. Go.
Alright. Okay, how do I... I'm gonna fucking suck at doing this shit because I can't just like pause normally. Alright. Okay. Create my duo. If possible, you can also comment on how it can be more like Ace and Dare combo. Yeah, see, the hard part is not hearing the comms, so it's like I won't know if you're calling for bubbles and not calling for your teams to go up here, you know, stuff like that. So it's hard to hear what you're doing. So like there, that was fine to go top, but you're gonna want to push the cart anyways to go under. And then so like here, once you get to like this point, right, where do you think you need to go? Because looking at their comp, they have Kree junk, so if you go this way, you're just gonna get like hard spammed. So like where do you think like you want to go to like take a fight? All right, I'll just get you in Discord. Yeah, show my Discord so I can ask the questions easier. I don't have to wait for you to type. Okay, I'm just gonna put on voice activation so you might hear like everything, but
No, good.
okay.
World of Warcraft, so I'm used to the keyboard skip. No.
Okay, okay, so from this spot where, so you went up top wherever, that was fine, and then you dropped because you need to get card pushed anyways. Then from here, once you get card pushed a little bit, where do you want to be taking the fight? Like where do you think, like what's your idea plan, like once you get to this spot? Because they're all going to be spamming you from high grounds, they're going to be shooting you from the front and all that stuff. So where do you think you want to go as like Reinhardt?
Server and go high ground, because the junk's just, well, I mean, like in general I would probably just play Winston here, but
Yeah,
we have a match where I'm gonna have to play Ryan, so I was just trying to get Ryan practice. But
okay,
yeah, I feel like that's where I struggle, because like the league is still playing with bans, so then sometimes I have to play Ryan where I'm like, oh, like I wouldn't be playing Ryan here, and then I'm like, I don't really understand him well enough to know like when it's something where I just like know like, oh, it's high ground, I want to go Winston, but then I don't really understand the hero to be like, this is what I should do if I can't do that.
okay, yeah. So like Winston's good enough for first point, and then Ryan's good for third. Like so first and second usually good for like Winston, but if you have to run Ryan, then you pretty much, you did like almost like the right thing. Usually like you don't even really need to like, you went up here then just like drops instantly. Like you're never really gonna be taking a fight here. It's kind of just like you're pushing cart, getting it to under this spot, and then once you get it to here, it's gonna be, if you try and push like to here, unless you get a pick, your supports and stuff are gonna get shot like along the way, so it's kind of hard. So you pretty much, you go right back under here, and then you go up top, and then you take high ground from them, and then they're forced to drop, and then that's when you rotate into the server room. So it's like, that's just like the best rotation you could possibly do. Like if you're on Reinhardt, that's kind of, unless you get a pick, right? So if you get a pick, then you can just like, you know, hard push on other Ryan, but if not, it's always going like, you know, like up through here, back up through top, then you take high ground, because their Ryan's already dropped, so they have to drop now, and you have all this, you take all the space, and then that's when you push card again to get to the corner. So it's like, it takes a while, but it's the safest route you possibly can, and then it forces them to give up like all their good positions, and you take all the positions, you know. What number is it? Okay, so we'll just see what you do here. So this is all fine. You got to kill on the junk, so you pretty much have a pretty good advantage here.
So like here I have no shield, but I got bubble, but should I still try and aggro that because the junk's dead, or is it fine to wait for my shield there?
It's kind of up to you. Since you have the junk advantage, you can kind of like hard pushes. You still want to be playing safe and not like get yourself killed, which is good. So you can be using like the card and stuff like as cover, like you've been, or staying like around like this corner, wherever this corner is, like you don't actually want to die, but you want to try and take the fight over before their junk respawns and come back. So as long as you're playing like a little safe, but you're still playing like aggro, you're not just like waiting around forever, then
Yeah.
You were fine. So I think right now you're doing everything good. So now the Ryan's nano, so backing out is fine. Oh shit. Okay, let me go back a little bit. These fucking controls are like, okay. Alright, that's just unfortunate that he got the shatter off, but
I think I was commenting, I didn't see any big fire strikes, or like I didn't realize his damage, so my ult tracking was way off on that. I thought he was like 60%.
okay, yeah.
He got some damage in that I didn't see.
Yeah, it should happen sometimes for me too. That's fine. So you take, okay, so now this is where playing Reinhardt on this point, like what's the main thing you need to do right now if you want to win this point? Because the second point is probably the hardest point to take on Gibraltar. If you get snowballed and like, or you get like stopped at like this little entry choke. So what do you think that is the first thing that you need to do?
We have a Lucio, so I'm calling it, but I don't remember what happens next, like if he did it or not, but I'm trying to punish like anyone that's on the split spawns here, because I want the bubble, and then I'm trying to shatter the Zarya, I think. But yeah, I just want to try and put them on a split spawn and then take the right side high ground. That's what my idea was.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So pretty much like, yeah, it's like right when you cap the point, you want to push, get whatever staggers they have, and then you want to go up and you want to hold this high ground, because if you give up this high ground and they get it, you're going to be playing low ground, your supports are all going to get like effed, and then it's just like it's really hard to retake with Ryan, just because they have so much, especially since they have the junk. They just kind of spam out your shield before you even get like under them and stuff. So if you can whatever get stagger and then you're just holding like the ship area, then it's really strong for you. So we'll see if you push any of these. So yeah, one of the kills was good. Nice slam. Yeah, I think it was still a fine shadow to do. It's just their honor came back and then some of your team wasn't there to follow up. But I couldn't hear if their whole team was with you. But I think that was still like a fine play to try and do. Alright, so your whole team is dead. So, especially against like a junk right now, I want you to take a look at something. Oh, wait, oh, your whole team is still with you. Okay, no, you're still one dead. Okay, so pretty much even when your whole team, half of your team, you have 4 people with you, you're pushing out to take a fight, and they're gonna have 6, and now you're 4v5, and then your other one, yeah, another one's like coming back and the other one's in your spawn. So
turn around here and make sure.
Yeah, it's just like that's one of those things, like after like you take a fight, you want to just like wait kind of behind like doors if you want to push out, like okay, is everybody ready to push out? Because if you push out to like their opening here, right? Your Kree's still back here. I don't know who is back here. Okay, your Hanzo. So both your DPS are dead. You pretty much, there's no way you win this fight without both of your DPS. And if you push up and you take this space somehow, right, they're gonna walk through the door and then they're just gonna get shot, you know, for free, and they're not gonna actually cross. So especially whenever you lose fights, always make sure that your team's like full 6 before you go. And then that's why, like, you know, whenever, you know, we lose fights, like, okay, is everybody ready to push? And then it's like, okay, do you have your plan? What do you want to do? And all that stuff. So for this point, there's 2 ways that you can try and take this fight here. And then what are those 2 fights you want to try and do? And then I'm just going to see if your thought process is on like the right track.
Well, I'm probably calming that he has Shatter, so I have to win versus the Rein, because I can't do anything like too far away from him to like make space on their DPS without blocking the Shatter first. Otherwise, we probably just lose our support in that fight.
So like, where do you want to be taking these engagements? You just want to you're just gonna go straight just down and run into them, or?
Nah, I would probably try and take it up the top left stairs and put our Kree on high ground, now that I think about it, but I know I didn't do that.
Okay, so you don't, this going up through these steps and going over, it's kind of like pointless, because then once you get here, like, what do? There's nothing. So if you want it to be taken high grounds, you go from like spawn, right? You go up these freaking steps, and then now, because guess what? You have both your Kree and Hanzo high ground. You can rotate over here, and then now you can take server room and everything, and then now you're forcing them to back out, or now you have high ground, so then it's advantageous for you, right? So it's either you're going to be trying like force a fight here on the ground, but then if you want to do that, you have to tell everybody on your team to get under like this little like awning area, right? So it's pretty much you're speeding. You're not really like looking to take a fight, you're looking to get everybody to the left side. So you're like, hey, we're gonna push everybody, go left to get like under here. And then once you get here, this is when you're actually gonna take an engagement, because if you just take the engagement straight up like front here, they're gonna be shooting like all your supports. You're not gonna have your shield junks there spamming out something, so you want to get your team to like a safe spot, and that's what you want to calm for them to do before you actually like take an engagement, you know?
So in general, like, because I can get the Kree to do what I want, so in general I should probably, like, if I'm duoed with him, just focus on, like, if it's into a spam comp, like, obviously high ground's good in general, but I'm just gonna escort him onto the high ground and then contest once we've done that.
Yeah, so like, yeah, so if you want to do that, then always want to go like top right, top left doesn't accomplish anything, because on this right side, then he can, whatever rotate, he can take the duel against the Kree, and then, you know, once he gets like this high ground, you know, it's just everything that he wants to do, like he has all this space. So top right is the way you want to go if you want to get him high ground before you drop and go anywhere. And then if you were to take the fight, then you want to tell your team to like get under the corner, because if they take the fight out here, they're just gonna get whatever spammed out. So that's fine behind you, so you kited back. I think they just, I want to say that Zarya was to the left. Okay, so yeah, you didn't even, wait, did Zarya get out? Okay, no, she did. Okay. I think you're gonna die to Tyre anyways.
I didn't even realize I got bubbled there. that broke so fast.
Yeah.
I that's why I pushed in like the
Let me see. I'm like third person, like. Okay, yeah, like I think you got flashed and then whatever stun everything. So you were in the right spot, playing on like the right side or whatever. So that was kind of just them making a play and nothing much you can do unless you're like watching for that. Then like, you know, you flick your shield up and stuff.
Should like the way that I push, like I'm going up on the right side of the cart, but then I'm opening up space on the left side. Is that the proper way to use the shield, or should I hug that right corner?
No, you always want to be playing like the left. So it's like pretty much you're gonna have your team like play like the left, and then you're always playing this left corner, because then you can cut back. If you play on the right side, then you have to hop over the cart, or it's like you're going to be kind of the left anyway. It's like with your shield. So if you can always play on the left, then it's better for you, because then it forces their McCree, if he wants to get that flashbang, right? If you're playing on this right side and then you're taking the fight here, he can play like anywhere he wants to get the flashbang. If you're tugging wherever like the left, then he has to like force himself like out into the open to get the flash, and that's when it's like better off for whatever your DPS to try and kill you. They have to try and like overextend to kill you, right? Because it's like it's harder for them to shoot you if you're playing right here on this corner than if you're playing out here in the open. There's more like line of sight for them to shoot you. So it's always just taking the fight from the left side, and then
or I mean, but like specifically where that engage happened though, like on like where
the last one. Yeah, the last one you did was fine. They just got like whatever the stun, and then they just ended up killing you. But yeah, like taking the fight like over here was how you want to do it. But ideally you want to go and take high ground here, and then once you get your DPS high grounds, force them off, and then you drop and take cart. So in like the next time, wherever best case is, you just take like the long route and come up top here, and then after you force them off, and then that's when you drop to the cart. So but yeah, it's not like terrible, but the top right is better.
Surrender to my will.
That's a good block. Oh, he's nanoed. Playing against the nano with the Moira. Hell yeah. It's the classic. The overall, that wasn't bad. You got the good block, and then got the pin on the round, but they just nanoed, so then, you know, there's nothing much you can do. You're just gonna end up dying if they push the advantage there, but looks like your team is winning the trades. Yeah. So it was overall like wasn't bad. Over there, you wouldn't be able to block that anyway, so you still play like the right spot. You had the Grav Dragon going anyways, so you kind of just have to play where it's smart. So even though your team died, you still did like the right thing there. You shouldn't put yourself out of position to block, you know, a high noon if, you know.
So would you say like if I'm in, I guess like it would be situational, but like in most cases if I'm trying to shield a high noon, I should still keep my hitbox behind the wall?
Yeah.
Just give it whatever little edge I can. Yeah,
so you never really want to put yourself out into the open to die or whatever, because you can still block with like the shield. So it's like you'd put yourself like if they're high nooning from like whatever, like this spot, like how they did before, I would either be like right here, right, and then have shield, so it's like if somebody was trying to cross, then maybe they have a chance. Or if I was like here, I put myself right behind here and just have my shield, because if you put yourself out, that's another hit on your shield that could have been saved for somebody else. And then if your shield breaks, at least you still have a chance to do something. If you just hold yourself out in the middle, you're just gonna die, and then that's kind of pointless. You never want to put yourself in a spot to die, but you want to do it, at least give your team like the best chance of like so like he's high nooning like here. I wouldn't be out here, since you'd hear like the high noon, you'd kite out to this corner, especially since you have like the Grav Dragon going. You don't really need to do anything, and once he drops, then you can push in, go for the pin, go for the fire strike and stuff like that, because you from here you can just fire strike into there with the dragon going, and then be perfectly fine to still like engage, because you don't need to do anything in a Grav Dragon, right? You don't need to force yourself. They're gonna die anyways.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're lucky nobody else was behind you, but for like best cases, you're playing here and then you just fire strike while Hanyun's going, waiting for it to go, or just holding shield.
I guess it's kind of like a bad habit because of the elo, because Grab Dragon like misses like 50% of the time.
Oh, okay.
So then I'm always like, oh, I'm just thinking about that I have to follow up on the grab because I don't know for a fact that he's gonna actually hit it.
Yeah.
But
anyways, all this is good. Pushing up to advantage is good.
okay, listen, told the Anna was one, and I knew I had to do it. I know I'm not supposed to.
Yeah, you had like won the fight. It's like, I would say, oh shit, I would say doing that is like if the cart was like here and then like that was gonna like win you the fight, but they're gonna be coming back whatever anyways.
It was strictly BM.
Yeah. I mean, I'll respect it. I'm not gonna, since it's a VOD review, I'm gonna say that's the bad thing to do, but I mean, like, hey, gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. So alright, so this is fine. This is good, holding this corner here. When you see, it's like, you know, you're finding this corner, you see that Rein is getting, wait, was it, oh no, it was the last before this. Okay, so you always want to be looking for their misplays and then engaging off of like them messing up, them being low and stuff like that. So when you see that their Ryan, I think he gets to like 1 HP or something here, because okay, so he gets like 1 HP, then that's when you want to tell your team, hey, like, we're hard pushing. Like, I would honestly even go for like a pin because you got the kill onto their Zarya, right? I think, yeah, their Zarya is dead. So if you go for a pin here, their Ryan's gonna die 100%, right? If he dodges somehow, then you're just in like a closer position to like swing on him, do whatever, because you still have bubble. So I'd like go for some like aggressive, like you're just holding shield right here, like, dude, just hard do swings. You don't want them to stabilize, because now the Ryan's stabilized, he's full HP, and they're just like kiting back. Like, you can just like hard push the advantage and then not have to hold shield as much. Do you know, like, get what I'm saying? Or
like, and then also too, like, when he was 1 HP, he didn't have a bubble. She bubbled him on the engage, so like he should have just died there.
Yeah, so it's like once you see those, it's like you just have to be a lot more like decisive. It's just, you know, like, go for it. Like, the faster fights go away is like better for you, you know, and like the longer it gets drawn out, then that's when like they get shattered up, they get fucking nanos, they do all this other type of stuff. So if you have an advantage, just you want to hard push it and like make the most out of it, because now instead of like you capping whatever, now they're kiting back, they're getting like a reset, and then you never know what can happen from here. But they're ended up going for a pin, and then he just got himself killed anyways. But that wasn't terrible overall. Like, he still played like the corners and all that stuff, so it wasn't bad. Then do you run Ryan on defense as well? Okay.
I'm pretty sure. No,
Okay, yeah, it looks like. All right.
It's gonna go into like another set of rounds because they cap, but I don't think you necessarily have to look at that.
I can just go through everything. That's fine.
Okay.
So Ryan on Gibraltar. Okay, there's two ways you can take this, at least first point. So where are you looking to take engages as Ryan on this point?
Either that first corner or behind the bridge, like.
So you're saying like right, like what, like right here?
Yeah.
Okay, and then.
Or when the first corner when it's all the
Like
way
here?
up the hill.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of like where you want to do it. I'd say, like, if you're playing Ryan you kind of just like usually always just probably want to be playing down here, because then you can force them, if they want to try and like kill like your supports and stuff, as I said, like they have to like push out, if as long as they're just like playing, you know, in the corner, and then like you're still contesting cart for as long as possible. Because if you just let them just like, you know, walk through, get all the space, kind of like how you did, you pretty much, you got the cart to here before they even took one engagement. So with Ryan, at least always try and look to take fights early. That's just like on, I think it's Route 66. I always hold at the doors when you're playing Ryan, because it's just free time off the cart, and usually like you have a chance for it to be like 1 minute plus, and if they wipe you, you still get your second fight right here where you would have originally done the first fight anyways. So there's zero reason like not to take the fight right here. How aggressive should you be as Ryan until it's considered throwing? I mean, with Ryan, it's all situational, Sir Pigton. So it's like, if you see an advantage, you take it. If not, then you don't take it, you know? So you're not just being dummy aggro when your team is not with you, but you can be dummy aggro with your team with you, and you have the resources and they messed up their resources. So it's always, you have to like think about what you're doing, why you're doing. So there isn't just one answer. It's, you're doing it smart based off of what you see in front of you. Will you watch a VOD of my CSGO and review it? Oh yeah, I think pretty sure you're better at CSGO than me, Theory. Just aim better, forehead. That's all I'll be saying. Why don't you hit that headshot? Okay, since they're, what are they on? They're on Ryan and Monkey. Alright, so this is fine. Get it held down, but this is still fine for you to hold this corner here. I would say it's better, if you want to hold this corner, it's better for you to hold this side. And the reason that is because your supports have a mega if they need, right? If one of them tries to push this way, you have like your DPS controlling whatever this high ground, you know, your Zarya can be there with them. They can give you the bubble and stuff like that. So this side, it just pretty much gives up all this space. It gives up high ground, it gives up mega control. They pretty much can wrap around all this space. Like, look where you're at, you backed up, and what do you have? You have, I can't draw, but it's like a quarter, less, like a fifth of the map, right? And if you were to hold here, now you have, it's like half and half, you know? So you always have to think about like controlling space, and like you're giving your DPS and your healers like the most like amount of space they can work with, and you pretty much just gave everything up for free. So holding whatever like here on like the left side is probably like your best bet. Either you take a fight fast when your shield is like getting low, or you can just like kite back and then wait for it and then go back out to point. Yeah, let me just, yeah, so from like here you'd rotate back into server, and then you just be holding like left side.
Because they have to push it. Like, I'm not gonna take that engage until the cart comes up the hill anyways.
Yeah. So yeah, so you don't have to like, you know, push the cart, but then it's just making sure everybody, like, when you were up top here, you'd be like, hey, everybody, like, kite to serve room, and then as you're saying that, that's when you're like where you're going. So it's not something like you just don't say, because then your team's gonna be like all over the place. So it's like when you were up here, then it's like, okay, they're coming under, like, hey, everybody, let's rotate the server room. And then once everybody's here, then, you know, Hanzo probably doesn't, you know, maybe doesn't die there. And then now you have like really good positions, you know, like you can be up top just shooting while you're holding the corner. But yeah, they kind of, you took 0 fights that whole point, and then just like backed up, and then, you know, they just capped off of 1 fight, you know? Like, so if you would have just held your ground and taken a fight there, then, you know, you could have taken at least 1 full fight, or 2 if you held at the close corner.
put Kree on, like, in the mini?
Yeah, so here you're fine. Like, pretty much you would just be holding this high ground. When the cart gets close is when you would drop down and, you know, look for your engage. Because based on, like, what your comp is, you have a Doom and a Kree with Moira Lucio. So you'd either be looking to see, like, where their Ana is, and then your Doom can, like, you engage off your Doom, right? So you'd be like, hey, Doom, are you ready? And then he's going to look for his rollout, and that's when you drop down and then look to take the engage.
Okay.
So it's pretty much just like you playing up here, and then you're dropping onto card, and then looking to, you know, take advantage of, like, their Ana or their Rein. Is this only tanker views, or can you do Genji VOD? I mean, I can do a Genji VOD. I don't know how much, you know. Main tank is definitely my specialty, but I mean, I can tell you if you're doing something dumb on Genji. If you're thinking about, like, full-on Genji tech, yeah, I can't do that for you. All right, let's see how you died here. So playing up top, so your shield's dead, and then take a look on where you died at. So corner to corner, you'd want to be playing this corner right here, right? So if your shield breaks, instead of playing out like this, right, you're playing out in the open and just dying, you'd kite back a little bit, wait for your shield to push up, because then, you know, your shield to recharge, and then you can retake that fight. Because pretty much after your shield's dead, you're still just playing out in the open, and, like, what's...
Should I wait on shield even when we have Cole? Like, I should push out with shield and Cole?
What the fuck is going on with this? I mean, he did Cole after you were dead, so... if you had Cole going when you were low HP, then yeah, with no shield you can still, like, you know, engage because you have, like, heals going, but you die before the Cole even comes out. So that's just, like, whatever, like, putting yourself in, like, a spot where, you know, your shield broke, you're not getting any, like, whenever any hard heals, you don't have, like, an honor or anything, so you just need to, like, take fast whatever engages. So then, because if you take it slow, then the Moira's gonna run out of heals, and then Ana's gonna get value. So always need looking to take fast engages against Ana comps when you have the Moira. So this is fine. Just trying to stall as long as you can. That's actually a big beat. Increase high nooning, so that's fine. Good shadow on the Moira. The Ryan's nano there, so if you know you're gonna die, this is just being, like, fucking nitpicky or whatever, but if he's nano like that, just go for the pin and try and, like, do as much as you can, you know, because he already used his whatever, his shatter before, so you know that he doesn't have shatter or anything. So it's like, bang, Ryan's nanoed, you know you're not surviving this no matter what, so just pin him, and then it, like, takes time off, like, his nano, and then you never know, maybe your team somehow, like, follows up and, like, gets the kill on him, you know. So but other than that, that was a good shatter onto the Moira to stop Cole and everything. For ball going back to stall, on that point particularly, Ryan is still the fastest, like, not the fastest, but he's pretty much just as fast, because you can just pin right down the bottom and it's like you're going speed boost. So it's like Hammond kind of doesn't really, like, does it faster, and then you just lose ult percentage that you had before. On other maps, I would say, like, yeah, Hammond, like, you know, like 2 CP and stuff like that, because there's like all those different corners and stuff. He's faster, but with Rein, since you literally just like right here, you just jump and like charge, you're pretty much like right there, right afterwards, and then you keep all your ult charge, so you don't really need to swap to Hammond on at least that point. Okay, so Rein comp, where do you want to be taking the fight at?
I would say that corner.
Okay, and then looking at their comp into yours, how do you want to take these things? Like, who are you looking to kill? Like, what are you looking for to engage off of?
The leap, like when the monkey dives, then I'm trying to aggro the Rein because I feel like he doesn't have much support. Well, I mean, I guess it's Ana, but like there's like less frontline support because I have a Zarya with me on the Rein.
So since they have the monkey comp, right? When monkey's gonna dive in the back, like, you're not gonna be able to pretty much do anything. So it's like your job to like make space, and like pretty much you can just bully their Rein right now as much as you can, you know, because they're gonna have the monkey's always gonna be looking to dive your backline. He's not really gonna be, if he's looking to play frontline the whole time, then you win anyways. So you're pretty much just looking to like hard bully the Rein as much as possible. So right when you push up, it's just you swinging, asking for bubble, and then just going for like swings, fire strikes, like all that stuff, because their monkey's not going to be able to support the Rein as much as you and Zarya just beaming him down, making him like have absolutely no value. So you just need to be like, notice, like look at their team comp into yours, and then seeing like, okay, how do I win against their team comp? Because if you play slow, monkey's gonna dive your backline, you can't protect it because you're on Rein, you're not gonna be able to get them. Zarya can't help, so it's your job to try and keep like the pressure onto them, so then they can't get the setups that they want, you know.
Okay.
So like monkey jumped, and then like you'd want to just, yeah, that's a good block. You'd want to try and like hard push onto like their Rein, so then their supports and stuff can't get heals onto any of them. That was just an unfortunate pin. Looking like my pins yesterday.
Let's try to clip him and get the
Okay, so you pushed up. Okay, so why are you backing up? What's your thought process on backing up?
Moira dying. I think she just got randomly 2-tapped or something. So
Did she die before? Let me see. Okay, no. Okay, so she died, but it's because you backed up, right? So it could have been avoided. So you're on Rein Zarya, they were on Rein Monkey, right? So what, and you have far as well. So what are your benefits as a team comp, like compared to theirs? Like what happens when they get space? I don't know how to like phrase this, because I just want to hear what you, like, okay, so what do you think you should do against their team comp?
Hold spawn and try and build a grab.
What do you think they're trying to do?
They want to kill Farah, and I don't know what you're gonna do with the monkey.
Okay, so for the monkey to get value, right, he has to walk out, get to a decent spot, and then jump. Okay, so if you have Rein Zarya and you have a Farah, so you're really good at like spamming and like holding choke points, right? So against this team comp, instead of backing up like when you did, you pretty much hold this corner, right? You can hold whatever, like this corner right here, and hold super close, and what that does is that stops any of them from pushing out. Monkey can't get a dive onto your backline, or if he wants to do it, it has to go blind, right? If you back up to this corner, like looks like what you're doing, you're giving him all this extra space. Monkey can jump up here, and then now he has the second jump to go behind, or you can just do the normal like glitch jumps and jump over the top if you do it right. So you're pretty much giving up all this extra space for no like real reason, and then your opponent's just playing into their team comp. So that's just like something to think about with how you want to play against certain comps, like against like other Ryan Zarya comps. Like, yeah, like, you know, you can back up here if you're like double sniper and they're like on a brawl comp, right? Because you want to play your distance. But on their comp into yours, like at this specific moment, playing close is the best that you can do, because you don't want to give Winston like all that free value. Like pretty much you just pretty much stop them from getting any value whatsoever just by holding close, and then, you know, you're more wouldn't have died because she backed up and then didn't have like a shield or whatever. You would have been here like holding the corner, you know. So it's just something to think about. Like, I know it's hard when you're in mid game to think about this stuff, but it's like that's why like on resets it's just like you hit tab, and then because that's why that's why it's also nice to see like what you're doing with like the actual thing, because I can see when you're hitting tab, and then it's like, okay, when you hit tab, what are you like looking for? Because every time you die, it's like, okay, press tab, they have this, okay, how do I want to play into the comp? Do I want to play super aggressive? Do I want to play super passive? You know, like all that type of stuff is, you just do that when you're dead. So these dragons to catch you back. So this is fine. You want to try and hold this space here. They have Nana Ryan, so you have to kite back. That's fine. You know, you're going to die anyway, so it's fine to try and do the pin there, but it just all goes down to like that one fight where, you know, you backed up. If you would have held close, they would have had to waste all these ultimates pushing out instead of, yeah. So it's like pretty much like if you were holding up here, they would have invested at least like 3 of those ults right here, and then now they would have just been touching the cart and pushing it, and then now you have like an ult defense. You would maybe getting close to shatter, you know, stuff like that. But then instead they walked all the way to here before you even got a single fight, and now they just blow all their ults to finish the cap. You know, like Overwatch is just a full-on like ult match, so you want to try and make them use their ultimates to take space, because if you don't, then they're just gonna, you know, have them all when they want. Yeah,
like the third point, we haven't really got like real fights, or then we win one fight and then I just go back to not giving them a real fight the next fight.
Exactly. So pretty much like whenever you take space, you want to look to hold space, and then try and like look at spots that's like advantageous for like you to whatever hold, and then make them have to use ults to like take that space back, you know, because then that works into your favor. You just let them, you know, take space for free. Then that's kind of just, you know, a bad part on you. So this is fine, pushing up, taking the corner here.
So see how I'm coming that far out off of the corner when I have full shield? Is that like what you're supposed to do, or no? Because I'm just thinking like I'm just trying to open up an angle that the McCree could like play in safely, or like whoever's playing behind shield, like where they can still put an angle on them, or should I be more concerned about my corners?
For this fight here, I would still, it's not terrible as long as, okay, so here you'd be like either, hey, focus Ryan, or you would literally, since you have shatter, the Ryan's pushed out, you literally could just like shatter this. I don't know if Zarya has bubble. That's not something I was like looking at, but that would be something like you would be paying attention to. Like when you see Ryan like this and their team's right here, bro, that's just like, hey, instinct, you're shattering, because even if Zarya bubbles, you're still shattering their whoever their Hanzo, and if you know he has shatter, you know he's probably going to look to counter it, and that's when you do like the big brain move, right? You shatter, and then you're just getting ready to block his, because your team can follow up on that, but their Ryan's going to think that he can shatter you, and then you just get the block, and then you can engage off the other stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just whenever the Ryan just like, okay, so the Zarya did bubble. You saw that the Zarya bubble was down on your screen.
Yeah.
That should just be instinct right now, insta shatter for these two, because then your teammates can focus whatever killing those, and then now you're ready to deal with whatever like the Ryan is right here. So you shatter them there, but by the time you by the time you shatter them, like look where they're at. They're far back.
More ults if I did it at the second they were pushed up.
Yeah, because where they're at now, who can shoot them? You know, your DPS or have like this line of sight, and then now they're already back there. If you would have shattered like when they're like right here, then that's really easy for everybody, you know, to push up and see where they're at.
Yeah.
So it's just pulling the trigger like a little bit faster. So
Same thing here.
yeah, so same, like pretty much same thing here. You backed up, and then your teammate was, yeah, so Tor was like holding close. You know, you have the turret, whatever. I know it's because you didn't call like you were backing up, but you know, kind of just died in front of you again. So you could have been, you know, holding this space, especially with, you know, like the Ryan Zarya, and you have like the Fire as well too. Like you can just like stuff them at this corner without giving all this extra space for free.
I'll get one with comms next time, but I definitely say what I'm doing, so I think it's just like the decision making, like people will just ignore you and like,
Okay, yeah.
I'll like tell them that I'm doing it, but then it's just like it was just a bad decision. Like he was right, and I should have like held forward with him.
Yeah, it was like you don't always think about like holding like certain corners. Like this corner is like one of the best, but in, like in certain situations, if you have like all this space, especially since they whatever have like ultimates coming up, like holding these like corners is fine. Yeah, because like when they're pushing out, like if they're using ults, then that's when you just kite back, you know. But it's like till then you just like hold close, look for picks and stuff like that. So this is fine. Going into this fight, you know that they're gonna have their shatter.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is where this is where it would have been nice to hear the comms to see like what the plan of attack was for this.
We called the grab, and it was just like I'm instantly just saying like, yeah, I just lost the fight because I call the Kree like saying that he's trying to rotate to high ground for high noon, but then just like I just tried to follow up on the grab, so then I charged it when I could have just like walked in and then just like swung on it and still been there, but
yeah.
you know, and then on top of that, like I pinned, and what did I get? I got the Ryan or something, not a squishy, so we didn't get a top of it. So
yeah, usually whenever like they're all clutched like that, there's a good chance that you hit the Ryan because he's in front of everybody else with like the bigger hitbox. You have to like tilt it really close to like the side, but if you're looking for like the grab play, like in cons, you'd be like, hey, let's look for like grab barrage and stuff like that, because then you could be like, okay, you can like look for a grab, like everyone's like on the page. If they're, maybe she's not in voice, maybe she is, like I don't know, if you try to want to set up those fights because you know that you're probably not getting, you shouldn't be able to swing and grab because you know Ryan has shatter, right? So you have to be playing to block it. So you want to look in this situation, like if you know Ryan didn't have shatter, then it's like, hey, grab, and I'm just gonna swing and like, you know, do fire strike, fucking do all like the swing and stuff like that. But since you know he has shatter, you should be looking to use other people's abilities to help you get value out of that, because you have to be playing to block shatter, you know. So it's like go for like the Zarya whatever barrage combo, so you're just holding shield and fire can barrage behind your shield, you know. So just thinking of like other people's plays that you can try and help set up.
Really vocal, like everyone was in comms and talking, so I think it was just like I'm not leading it properly, like there's just like a lot of bad decisions happening.
I think it's just, yeah, like in ranked it's just like if you can have, if they just have like that one person that's just like making the plays and everyone's just like listening, then you know you're good. Like everyone can be talking about their own thing, but they need it to have that one like a definitive person. It's like, hey, we're pushing up here, we're holding here, and like that's what then everybody else can do like their own, like, you know, like side comps and stuff like that, you know. Like we're in all our comp games, like everyone's listening to that one person, but then everyone's also doing their own thing, like calling for their own things, right? But it's like you still have that one unified plan. Yeah, so you kind of like whatever pin there, and then the Kree kind of just high ninja your whole team. But it happens. It happens.
The second I hit lab shift, I was like, yeah, just like my back.
Yeah, whatever. You know, misplays happen, but it's, you know, you learn from them, and then you just know not to, you know, do it again. And then do you pay attention to like what ults your team has like every fight, like do all like the ult tracking stuff, or?
Yeah, just from playing Zen, I feel like I'm trying to stop pressing tab when I do it and just focus on doing it in my head, because I honestly just like get into bad situations sometimes because I'm like, oh, I can't make this jump. How do you do this on it? I do it every time on Zen, but I don't understand it.
Mine's too fat, dude.
So like I'll get myself into bad situations because I'll be like holding down the W key while I'm pressing tab, and then I'll be like far off the corner and stuff. But I do ult track like very consistently.
Okay.
And it's usually accurate, except for like, you know, there's those ones with the shatters and stuff where I don't realize how much damage she got in.
Okay, that's good then. Yeah, because then going into like all the fights, you can be like, okay, if you knew that last fight they were going to do, you're like a high noon, then you're like, okay, everyone, like you can watch for this chatter, like, okay, they have high noon looking, so it's like you knew you wouldn't want to like whatever pin there since they had high noon going, because then you can just like kite back, play a corner, and then re-engage with like you had Cole coming up, and then, you know, all that other stuff.
That's the best part. I'm literally the person that calls the shatter high noon and says what they're gonna do, and then I charge it.
Then you charge it anyways. be the hero, dude.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. So same thing here. You can honestly, since it's overtime, for the other pushes, like it's kind of like whether you want to hold close or not. For overtime pushes, I kind of just like to hold spawn like no matter what, because you're playing to get them in overtime and to build your ults. So it's usually like there's literally zero, especially on this map, there's like zero reason like not to just hold close and try and burn as much time off the clock, because you want to get multiple fights on this map. Because we'll see what you do here, but if you just kite back and then take like the one fight here, or if you just keep kiting back and take the no fights like you did the first time, that's kind of like the worst case scenario, because now they're going to be going into second with still 2 fights to go, you know. So you want to try and make it so it goes to overtime by the time it even goes into second point. So whatever, like holding close, force them to, you know, make a bad decision and, you know, do all that stuff is
that corner close, or like literally in spawn, because we have Moira Lucio.
So you can do those like for like if you're in like your team setting, I'd say like you can just like make the play to like, you know, like hide up here and then like drop down, or you're playing inside here and you're like, okay, everybody come follow me, and then right when they touch cart, we're speeding out. Like that's the classic that, you know, a lot of people do, and you can probably take advantage of this in the lower elo, because people aren't going to be, you know, thinking of that. People are actually going to do like, you know, good strats. So it's like, okay, have everybody come to this corner and then right when you see that little like arrow at the top that people are on it, you're like, okay, we're gonna speed out, and then you're just calling, hey, everyone's gonna speed out and we're just gonna like bulldoze them.
Okay.
And you probably catch them off guard, and then once you win this fight, then you're just, you know, holding corner here for as much time as you can. Because especially now that you see that they're on the Winston Rein comp again, you don't want this guy to be able to do his jumps for free onto your backline. Like if you hold close there, when he walks out, he has to use his jump. And where's he going to jump to? If it's too far from the jump to get on like your supports, or if he jumps, he's going to be like halfway between. You can just turn and kill him. Because if you just give him free space, then he can do all his like jumps to your backline, jumps behind you, and, you know, get to those positions that he wants to get. So that was good. You got the kills on those guys. I probably, right when you got the kill onto Monkey here, and then you go for this guy, I would have called, you already have the advantage to drop and then pressure these guys like now, because your whole team's like right up here. You don't really need to back out to here and then touch, because you're just getting like wherever the free carbage, you have the advantage. So you can just drop and take the fight, like, you know, right here on like
their back line there.
Yeah. Wherever, yeah, actually wherever they, looks like they get the res, but then, you know, you were up like 3 or 4 like right there, and then you backed up and then creased that. Like if you would have just came and dropped a cart from where you're holding it, then that's just better for you, because then you're holding all this extra space and they're not giving them any space for free.
Yeah.
So when you're, if you were down a couple, then yeah, I would say like back up and, you know, go here. But since you were up, just take that like initiative and just be like, okay, hey, we're up, our team's gonna like do good, and then you just take and hold the fight, you know, right here. And then even if you do lose, guess what, the cart's gonna be like here by the time like you get your recontest, you know, instead of maybe taking the fight here and then they're all respawned, then now it's one fight territory instead of 2.
Okay. Doable?
Doable, yep, doable. So that was a good fire strike. So this is fine. This is like that awkward spot, because since now that they have like cart pushed here, you don't really want to, you can fight, you can try and take the fight here because they have the Winston. So if you try and take the fight here, he's just going to take high ground with whatever his DPS, and then you're kind of screwed. So it's possible for, since you have like the Torb and the Moira comp and stuff like that,
Play Mega.
yeah, just, yeah, you can come down here and then you can just force them to have to drop into you, because they don't, you can look at their team comp, right? Like, okay, they have an Ana, they have Genji, Hanzo, whatever. Like, they don't have Junkrat. If you wouldn't want to play here if they have Junkrat, because that's gonna hard spam you. But since they don't have that type of comp, and you have like a good counter dive with like Torb and Kree and everything, you can just force them to be like, okay, hey, you gave up this spot, we want to try and hold car as much as possible, so you just take the, you just play this corner right here, and then you just kill first person that pushes up. Like if you see Monkey jump up top, right, he flies up, that's like your engage trigger to go fucking destroy this guy, because now he's up here trying to look to kill your backline. You don't want to, you wouldn't just sit here and as a sitting duck and just waiting to die, right when you see somebody like leave or waste a cooldown, then it's like you hard engage onto that. So we'll see what you do, but if you just like back up, that's kind of just giving them all this extra space.
And if I do take this from up here, then I'm supposed to be in the server again.
Yeah. That's unfortunate.
doesn't have it, and then rip.
Yeah, so I was unfortunate that he got the shatter. I would say you'd want, okay, so since you're already down a couple, you'd want to come back to at least like the right side, because that's like where your team is. So you pushed over to like the left. Like if you would have started the fight on the left, then that'd be fine. But it's like, so you kind of do things like opposite, like you're, after the fight's going on, you're going left, and then it's kind of like you're going into like the wind outside like the Winston bubble, so your team can't even heal you anyways, and you're putting yourself away from everybody that can support you. So as the fight was going on, you saw the Rein on the left side. Okay, it was like, okay, fuck that, I want to go next to the Nana Rein, I want to come to the right side and start counting back to where my team is respawning at, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, kind of like the thing that happened on first kind of happened on thing on second, where you kind of just gave up space, and then now it's like they pretty much just had one fight without having to reset onto you guys.
30 seconds remaining.
So that's fine. Since it's going overtime now, this is going to be like the last fight. Okay, so you see that you have pretty much like almost every combo in the book. You know they don't have a Zarya. So in your head, what are you thinking you can do? What are you looking to do here?
360 no scope shatter, easy.
Yeah, easy, yeah.
I would try and hit the Ana, probably, is like my ideal target. I want to, because it's Ana Mercy, I was thinking about making sure he doesn't have healing, and then I guess we could have broken shield with High Noon or something instead of trying to like get some crazy skill shatter in that could still be blocked. So
Okay.
that was doable.
So what abilities do you have on your team that enable shatter?
Of a stun, I have a bubble.
Then to enable your shatter to work to get value.
Speed boost.
And McCree stun, right?
Yeah.
And then looking at their team comp, since you know they've had a monkey the whole time, what can you do to their Rein to just get your shatter off, and there's nothing to do to stop it? That me and Derek do all the time.
Yeah.
Just be like, okay, hey, we're gonna speed, flash shatter, and then once you, it's okay, even if you just get like the Rein, because guess what? Look, you have High Noon, and you have Torbolts. It's like Rein, you get that shatter, your Kree can either High Noon, you guys are just gonna kill the Rein, and then guess what? They have no front presence, and then now you just bully the card and win. So it's like, that's one of those things, like for like these type of like fights, since you know like they don't have the Zarya to even protect the Rein, it's just like you can just bully the Rein as much as you can with like flash shatter and like all that type of stuff. So it's like for this fight, I would have gone in like, hey, we're gonna speed, flash shatter, and then we can just use all the others. So you can use High Noon, you can use freaking Torbolt for the cart, you know, all that stuff. Because once you kill this guy, there's no front like point presence, you kind of just win the overtime. Like there's no way you end up losing this. That was a good shot on the Genji. It ended up working out, but I would say you were a little too passive on taking this engagement, right? So like right, they use the dragon right here, you have Torbolt going right. You know the Rein had just used the shadow on that last fight, so he doesn't have it. He has to try and look to block yours. So you can engage and you just killed up to right here. So you're pretty much up whatever 2 people, and you're sitting here just holding shield while Beat is on you, and like Mercy's trying to get the res, right? So you should just know like, hey, he doesn't have shatter, I have shatter, I'm just gonna run into this guy and look for the shatter. If he's either gonna block the mercy or he's not gonna block for himself, and you can just get one of them, you know. So it's just like pulling the trigger faster, you know, like when they have these advantages, and just remembering that, like, because it looks like right now you're looking to try and block shatter, so it's like you probably just maybe just forgot that he used it on that last fight, you know, because that's what I see when I see this. It looks like you're playing to block shatter, showing your team to die, but it's like you could have just played super aggressive since he did use it that last fight. But that was a good shatter onto the Genji. But taking that long, let's say like the Genji dashes into like not into, you know, your shatter, then he ends up, you know, like killing 4 or something because you were too hesitant to like engage, you know, like it could have turned out worse than what it was just because you didn't pull the trigger fast enough.
Yeah.
Yo, 5K, thanks for the gifted sub, dude. Really appreciate it, man. Got some sub hype in the chat. That's up, Vince. Hey, dude, that's Paw. Yeah, Travis Paw concert, dude.
That's a hog.
Pog. Okay, so let's see how you do your attack then.
Wait, I want to say something. I think Ace
Oh
Ofspades
no, the attack. I'm throwing, dude.
You're throwing the attack. Alright, I will see.
I think, yeah, just you have to recognize when you have an advantage and immediately take.
It's fucking, is that fucking Rick?
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, bro, I thought I heard like multiple like other people's voices. I'm like, bro, I'm just fucking tripping, bro. I was like, wait, I hear something in this bot. Okay.
You made a really good point on first when you said you should have dropped on the corner. It's like you gotta have these little triggers in your head so you have like established good points on maps where you have good control. Like first corner is pretty good, but you don't want to push up too far. But like if they're staggered, you take it immediately.
Yeah.
Right. And then because
Bang bang.
yeah, what Ace explained, you get 2 fights in case you lose, and you will also just like force more fighting. But then on the second point, like you knew they had Winston, you knew that you have Zarya, Lucio, and they just have Ryan, Winston. They have an Ana. Ana's pretty much the only threat they have to you. So like you kind of want to play around your team shield. So when you know you have team shield, you just int in on him basically when he doesn't have shatter.
Yo, Vince, thanks so much for the 23 months, dude. Got some sub in the chat, dude. Thanks so much, man. Yeah.
Just like you just gotta recognize, like when you're playing Ryan, just think of these little points. It's like, okay, well, when this happens, this is when I go in. And Ace like goes over this in his streams all the time. So like you just see those little triggers, and you have to just work like immediately go.
Yo, I'm trying to reprogram before playoffs start. This is like, I'm like 600 hours. Basically, so.
I will tell you, because this is what
I'm struggling, dude.
this is what like I've learned, like how we did in like for contender stuff. It's easier to pull back than to be aggressive. So in scrims, you can play hyper aggressive, right? And then you slowly tone it back to find like, so you get the feel of how to be aggressive. Like when we played like dive and stuff like that, it's like, okay, we're literally inting onto their backline like in every fight, and we're just gonna practice like being super aggressive, jumping in. Like if we die, we die. Like it's a scrim block. You're here to learn, right? And then it's like with Ryan, it's like, okay, we're gonna like practice. Okay, we're gonna do bubble like hard engages, like calling to kill like the, you know, closest target. Either it's gonna be like an Ana close, or we're gonna look to bully like there's Zarya, Ryan. So it's like in like scrims, you don't play to like win. Like yeah, winning's fucking nice, but it's like at the end of the day, it's like, okay, what did we actually get out of the scrim block? So if you need to practice getting like being aggressive, like okay, just tell us, hey, with this scrim block, we're gonna practice being like super aggressive. So you're just like fucking right when you see something, you're just running into them, and then you'll get for the feel of like, okay, when you get in a situation, it'll just be like second nature. Okay, I saw this, it worked out, so we're going like super fast in. Because if you never get that practice, then you're never gonna be able to just like turn on that switch when you see an advantage. So here's fine to get the Cardinal logic. Oh, that's actually a huge poop. Nice, that's That's big. So this is, I would say,
Here, I'm not supposed to be on cart. Would I be up?
yeah. So like, there's not, like they're all dead right now. So pretty much should just be you holding space, but you want to try, you want to just get to this corner here and just stuff, because they either have to come through this little tiny corner or they're gonna go through the top. But for the most part, their tanks and stuff like that are probably gonna go from here. And then if somebody does go from the top, then you have like somebody will see it, and then they can just call for you to like, you know, come back. But if you hard stuff this corner here, then you get all the cleave as they're coming out, and it scares off the Rein to push him back, because he's not going to just run past your shield, right? Unless it's on cart. And if you run past your shield, then your team can shoot him, and then you're getting all the free cleave onto the other teammates that don't want to hard push into it. So we'll see what happens. But if you're back here and they all push through and take this space, then you fucked up, because you could have just held where your Zarya is.
So when people tell you that you're supposed to stay on cart, I've been lied to this whole. Well, I mean, like obviously there's situations, but like, cause like people are telling me to like be on cart, right? So then they're just wrong.
Yeah. If
Ryan, no.
the problem with any coach below top 500 is because I feel like they just watch those like your play Overwatch videos, no cap, and then they don't understand like the reason to push up, and you take space. After you take a fight, you're pushing up, taking space. Like you're on dive, you push up, you're fucking getting high ground like all the way into their spawn, and then looking for like an engage. Like for you playing back here, you're giving up all this free space that you could hold. Like you only usually have, even in overtime, unless it's like they have all these ultimates coming on, you literally have like your Ana on cart, and you're pushing up and trying to look for like the best space you can take. So like you'd want to push up and take this right here. Yeah, map control is way more important, because then you get farther cart push than you would have with just getting 3 on it, and then they get a recontest, you know. So like here, yeah, look, they got
I can take that corner.
yeah, they pretty much got all this extra space for free now, and now they're not like claustrophobic, because if you would just held them in this corner, Ana wouldn't have a good chance for nades. You'd be hitting other people. She'd be hitting like a Zarya for heal instead of the Rein, and now they're just out for free, so now they have all this extra space that your teammates can die. So yeah, this is all kind of just going downhill, but yeah, so do you understand now like why, if like holding the close, then all of this kind of would have been prevented? Because then if you used like the window or like this, she'd be using on like the corner, and then you'd be close enough to even where you could probably just like swing and kill it, you know. So yeah, like
some of the positioning habits, I feel like I don't know how like I can't even be good at one role, let alone 2, dude. Because then it's just like they were telling me to play cart, but then like instinctively I probably would have still played cart, because I'm just used to being like Zen, and it's like, oh, okay, from like this corner I can still push cart and like spam the choke and stuff. But
yeah, that's definitely gonna be tough for having to play multiple roles. But yeah, for you can even like tell, like I don't know which one was telling you to stay cart, but usually you never always want to try and push up whole corners. Like they shouldn't tell you. You just be like counter calling, be like, nah bro, like we want to hold this corner. Then you can even like show this, like look what happened when we gave all this extra space. Like Kree wouldn't have died because Soldier went out for free. Like if they were just stuck in the corner, you know, he would have capped this point and been on to fight second, maybe with like full ultimates. So let's see. All right, so you're going to this fight. You have Cole Bob. They have Grav, Window. So taking high ground here is good. As long as once you clear it, I'd clear them off and then you just drop to like the corner. So I guess they dropped off, so it's fine. And then yeah, you can push to this corner here. This is fine. That's fine. They just grabbing. Windows, not much you can do to counter that.
Not when we were at, because here there were like comms for it, but I think I should have like super checked that they hit their shot, because by the time I was on corner, because it was a 97%, I thought we already had Bob, but it looks like they didn't hit a shot until we were like half HP and grab. So I feel like even though it's a grab combo, like maybe we could have still done something there if I actually had the ult before I tried to hard engage like that.
Yeah, that's kind of like the hard part with like overtime. It's like if you know they have like the grab combo, it's like you can always call like, hey, if they use like this, like we can just not ult and then you just take the fight with 40 seconds left with like way more ults. Because if they get like the grab, if they had grab Hanzo, they just have Hanzo now, but it's like if they had that, it's like if you use ults into a grab Hanzo, you have nothing that's going to protect you, so you're going to die anyway, so you wouldn't want to invest anything, you know. So it's just like one of those things to like, it's hard to, everyone kind of has to make their own decisions, and that's why it kind of sucks sometimes, because you know people will, you know, make mistakes. But going into the fight, it's like, okay, hey, I'm gonna push up. If they grab, then at least trying to let it only be me, and then maybe you guys can win, you know, not everybody play next to me type of thing. So let's see here. Honestly, okay, so 30 seconds left. You have High Noon and Rein. So what do you think you should be like? What's your plan going into like this fight based off of, you know, what ults you have compared to, you know, what ults they have? Like, what's your plan for this fight?
Could we just put up like make him climb up the boxes and then he literally just like drops into them? Like, because I don't think the flash would work from up there, but like we could maybe bubble him down into like a risky spot and then try and flash shatter.
I would say you don't like the flash shatter, you know, whatever is nice for anything, but you have a High Noon here, and then so what the High Noon is going to do, it's going to zone them out into like a spot where then you can get like the shatter, right? So it's like you can go top, he can look for like the High Noon. If you're up here with High Noon, right, bang, it's going to force them. One, if one of them's caught out here, like, I don't know, you get the kill, but the most likely they're going to like kite under to like here, right? Then you drop, and then your whole team is gonna be like, you know, like right here. Like maybe he gets like the High Noon on like 2 ticks, maybe he breaks shield, and then you shatter, and then if not, then he has like, he can look for like the flash shatter, and then they're all in this corner, so it's gonna be like perfect, or they're in this little room, so now it's easy for you to just like cleave and take this space. So you should use like High Noon always as like a zoning thing, and then you have a potential to get value off of it. Like I wouldn't say flash shatter is like the number one go-to. It's get your Kree high ground, look for High Noon, force them into a spot you don't want, and then now you're dropping, now you have space, and then now you can look for all the other abilities, you know. Because if you just drop to here and then they have all this extra space still, you're kind of going into the fight without an advantage when you could have easily made one just by going high ground and like using your abilities to your advantage. Because you could try to take high ground by himself, and then now he just ended up dying. So it's fine, you kind of have to hold shield for that. I got the shatter on the soldier, but yeah, nothing else on it. It honestly just comes down to on that, like those couple fights, whatever, where you could have just like forced them into holding close, but that's just kind of what Overwatch is. Like if you mess up like one time, then
Yeah.
things just get snowballed. And if you would have done that one thing right, which sucks, it's like, okay, damn, we could have won, you know. And it's just like remembering those type of things, because the only way you get better.
On second where the Moira died, I think we had like 4 ults or something. So then they just like, assuming we cycle properly, they probably don't cap there.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, for Overwatch, you get into these situations, then you just like learn from it. It's like what you do to remember like those certain situations, and that's how you just get better. Because then now you know for next time, if you get in this same situation, you be like, oh fuck, I lost last time, so now I want to push up and get to the corner. And you kind of have those experiences to like know what you did wrong, and then it's just up to you to remember to fix it and stuff for the next times. But like it wasn't terrible. Like, yeah, you made some mistakes, but at least you're still like holding corners. Looks like you're pushing like sometimes, like not as much as I'd probably want you to see. I'd probably want to see you be like a little more aggressive when you see advantages, but it isn't like terrible.
Just play corner until I have full shield, and then when I have full shield, just int in and, well, obviously not like int for real, but
yeah, like pushing off of like an advantage that you like see and like force them to, you know.
Press left shift.
Yeah. Yeah, oh yeah, dude, yeah, just fucking charging. But it kind of depends like what team comp you have as well. Like if you have like a brawl, or they have a brawl into your shields, and that, yeah, you want to play with more passive, you know. So just like go into the fight, even if it's like after the first engagement, you see what team comp they have, then it's like, okay, now you have to like make the decision, do I want to be playing passive, or do I want to play more aggressive with what team comp we have? Like if we have brawl into their double hit scan, you want to play aggressive because you want to just dumpster them, because if you play slow, you're gonna get shot from a distance, you know. So it's just one of those type of things. But overall, nice job. Hopefully it was kind of helpful.
Yeah, it's really helpful. Thanks, man.
No problem.
Alrighty. I'm gonna get back to editing.
All right.
Okay,
All right.
peace.
Yep. See you later. Otherwise, dude, look, I can make a fucking smiley face doing this. Look, now look, everybody, smile, dude. Smile. All right, chat. Hopefully that one was helpful to you guys. And then now we, yeah, smiles in the chat. Have you seen the Valorant patch? Yes. We can go on to the next one. So